Good afternoon. Welcome once again to the TIP Annual Conference for 2021. It's been a great conference so far. This is day 2. We had such great value yesterday, more value this morning, and now we're here we're going to get more amazing value. So to start off immediately, we want to listen to testimonials from parents who are in the TIP Inner Circle Academy. Let's see what happens there. Let's see what they get, and let's see what we can learn from them. Please watch.
Hello everyone, my name is Shera AJ, and I just want to share about my experience with the TIP Inner Circle. So when I heard about the Inner Circle, I wanted to join. I wanted to find out what it was about, but then I heard about the cost and I got discouraged. But I'm glad I asked, because I was told, oh, you can pay partly, there's a payment plan, and it helps you to pay in parts, which was great, and that's what I did. And I do not regret my decision. Just being around parents that share the same ideas with you about raising children, asking questions, rubbing mind, and realizing, oh, I'm not the only one going through this, and coming up with solutions that are long-lasting, that give results, has been amazing. I'm not talking about the master classes we have every month. I can't even not mention the books. I normally don't read books, but being in the Inner Circle has made me to start reading books and just discussing about books, learning things. You will be a student of your child when you enter the Inner Circle, because you realize that parenting is about you and understanding your child. Because at the end of the day, how can you raise a child you do not understand? You do not know their learning styles. You do not know their love language. You do not know their temperaments. That's one of the things that I've learned in the Inner Circle. What does it mean to discipline your child? What skills do you need to teach your child? How do you teach your child? Daily activities to do with your child. It's so many things. There are times I felt overwhelmed with the information, but then I realized that, I'm learning this thing for the whole journey that I'm going to have with my daughter or my children. It's not just for today, not just for 1 week. And so it's worth the investment and is worth your time. So if you're considering it, if you're thinking about it, yes, go for it. And I'm sure you will not regret it. Thank you very much.
So there you have it. It's an annual program for parents who want to intentionally walk their journey. So we advise you to join the 2022 program. Now we want to listen to the video of our speaker. Let's watch our speaker profile.
Oluwatoyin Ogunkanmi is a psychologist, a certified parenting educator, and family life therapist. She also has certifications in emotional intelligence, anger management, and fear mastery from SOPCA, an affiliate of the prestigious Century Anger Management Institute USA. She is also a certified parenting educator and facilitator by the USAID for Better Parenting Curriculum in Nigeria. Our experience spans over 17 years in administration, counseling, coaching, and training. She is a member of the Nigerian Institute of Training and Development and the Nigerian Institute of Management. Toyin graduated from the University of Ado-Ekiti, Nigeria, and is an alumna of the Lagos Business School's Entrepreneurial Development Center. Oluwatoyin attended various trainings and seminars in Nigeria and overseas. She is an advocate for positive parenting and parents helping their children discover their purpose. Oluwatoyin has a passion for teaching and coaching parents to become emotionally intelligent. She facilitated training for parents, especially women. She is the founder of Parenting Support System and Glicken School Uniform Store. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome to the 2021 Intentional Parents Conference, Oluwatoyin Ogunkanmi.
Hello,
Welcome. Thank you
hello,
so much
hello,
for being
hello.
here.
Thank
Good
you for having
afternoon.
me. Good afternoon, sir. How are you doing?
Very good. Thank you so much. So we can't wait. We have been expecting you. We know you're going to help us answer that question. Why teenagers rebel and how we can deal with it. We are all ears. We
Wow.
have our papers ready. We want to write.
Okay. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, the Intentional Parent Inner Circle, for organizing this with Wendy Ologe. It's really a pleasure and an honor to be here to speak with everyone. I've been listening to the past speakers, and yes, there's even value. So if you have parents that are not on this call, that are not in this conference, and they're your friends, I think you need to call them. They need to be here. So good evening again. So today I'll be speaking about teenage rebellion, why teenagers rebel, and how parents can handle teenage rebellion. So the first thing I will say is that rebellion is as old as the days of the Bible. Yeah, rebellion is as old as that. From one generation to the next generation, people have been rebelling. Even us as adults, while we were teenagers, we actually rebelled against certain norms, certain rules, certain things in the home. And the good thing about knowing about what I'm going to talk about today is that there's a science behind teenage rebellion. And what really is rebellion? Rebellion is when someone is position to lay down rules and regulation. When when it's an act or a process of resisting authority or control. And rebellion can actually be likened to disobedience, defiance, or insubordination. However, when it comes to teenage rebellion, there is a root cause. And I'll be talking about the root cause, and I'll also be talking about help how parents can handle this, and how parents can also prevent the children going into the extreme. So, teenage rebellion, what is it all about? Science and psychology have been able to unravel the reason teenagers rebel. And it all starts from the developmental stage called adolescence. Adolescence is a transition period in the life of anyone. It starts at the age of 10 and ends at the age of 21. And this period is characterized with lots and lots of changes, loads of growth in terms of the child's emotional, physical, cognitive, psychosocial development. And with these changes, with this rapid growth, this rapid development, also comes with the child seeking independence, the child trying to find his or her identity, the child is trying to seek control. The child is seeking acceptance. The child is seeking attention. The child is trying to form his character or her character. And also, the child is trying to form his own value system. So, with all these changes, with all these things happening in the life of your child, for parents who do not understand the psychology of the adolescent, there will be strain in the relationship, there will be friction, and there will be struggle in the parent-child relationship. And that's when parents will say, oh, my child is rebelling. That's when parents will say, my child is rebelling, my child is not listening to me, my child is doing all sorts. So for parents, you need to understand the psychology of your adolescent. You need to understand what is going on in this child that is transiting. And this child himself or herself is actually seeking for solution because he really does not understand what is happening. The child is seeking what is happening to me, what is happening, how can I, what is happening why am I going, why do I have so many emotions going through me? So it's very important for parents that this is the time you have to be with your child. This is the time you have to understand your child. And this is the time you have to give your child full support to move out of this phase and move into a more responsible phase. So teenage rebellion actually starts with adolescence. It starts from the end. So adolescent has been divided into three. We have the early adolescent, the middle adolescent, and the late adolescent. So when your child turns 10, there are certain changes you will notice about the child. The child is questioning you. You give the child you tell the child to do certain things, and the child ends up questioning you, wanting to know why do I have to do this? Or the child will ask you, mommy, daddy, black is not black, black is gray. This is the time they start questioning. And why are they questioning? Because their brain is as their brain is developing. They've started abstract thinking. The logical part of the brain is developing. The logical part of the brain is not fully developed at this stage. And this is when the child starts asking questions. This child wants to know more. And for parents who are not patient, they tend to shut the child down, or they tend to cut off, that relationship in terms of they want to be the Lord and Master and all that. And when they do all this, the child either withdraws within himself, or for the outspoken ones, it might be outright rebellion. Now, this is when the child exhibits certain behavior that might be contrary to your family values and expectations. And at this point, it starts with subtle disobedience. That's for the early adolescent stage now. It starts with subtle disobedience. It starts with the child trying to push boundaries. It starts with the child wanting to push the limit, want to test your resolve, to know how far you can go as parents. Another thing parents need to know, that the child is seeking his identity. And because the child is seeking identity, wants to be different from you, wants to be different from his siblings, the child might start on bringing on certain persona, might start trying on different hairstyle, different clothing, and I wonder, why is my son dressing like this? Why is my daughter dressing like this? These are all part of them trying to seek identity. Now, for parents who do not understand these about their children, there will be conflict in the home. The mom and the child would always be, and the father will always be at loggerheads. That's when you see them. That's when you see this fight, this rebellion really coming up. Now, another thing parents need to know about this rebellion, this early stage of rebellion, is that if it's not checked, if parents do not undo, if they're not able to handle this stage of rebellion at this early stage, it might escalate to the extreme, where the child will now start showing the child will defy authority openly. That's when the child starts getting himself or herself involved in self-sabotaging, self-destructive behaviors like experimentation with drugs, trying to take alcohol. The child might try going into illicit sets and all that. So it's very important for parents that when this early rebellion starts, you have to handle it immediately. And how do you handle it? I'll talk about that towards the end of my presentation. Another thing you need to know is that when it comes to teenage rebellion, there are two forms. The child trying not to conform to the societal or family expectations, or the child not complying to lay down rules. So you see, so when you talk about the child not conforming to societal expectation, here the child is trying to have his own identity, is trying to be different. The child is thinking abstractly. The child wants to have his own identity. The child wants to be different from his parents. The child wants to be different from the siblings, wants to be known. Oh, this is Toyin. This is how Toyin is known. This is how Toyin is. Another thing you notice about them is they want to affiliate more with their friends. So for parents who do not have a cordial relationship with their children, for parents who do not have that one-on-one relationship with them, where the child can actually come and speak to you, where the child can actually come and interact with you, the child would move closer to his friends. The child would want to, that peer pressure would come up and would want to follow and want to be like their friends. So one thing I tell parents that see there's a positive side to this rebellion, and there's also a negative side. The positive side is that your child is becoming independent. And I tell parents that see, for your child to be independent, independence comes with responsibility. So you have to teach them to be responsible for them to be independent. That's one thing I tell parents. You have to teach them to be responsible for the children to be independent. Now, there are other causes of rebellion. So I've spoken about the signs behind the teenage rebellion. The fact that the child is going through adolescence, the child is going through that transition stage of moving from childhood into adulthood. And as parents, you have to be there to support that child. You have to be there. And when I talk about support, rebellion is a no-no. Rebellion is, there's nothing good about rebellion. But I will talk about the positive side of rebellion now. The negative side is one we all know: the child is being rude, the child is not listening to authority, the child is, and all that. But the positive side to it is this: for parents who are able to walk their children through this process, the child ends up becoming independent. The child ends up having the ability to think critically, because if the child will not just succumb to just what everybody tells him or her, the child will be able to critically look at what he or she is being asked to do, or look at what is being presented to him or her. So critical thinking skills are being developed. Another thing, social skills, the ability to talk, the ability to object in a positive way. So those are the positive things that might come out from rebellion if parents walk through with their children during this process. Rebellion is a given. Almost all teenagers will rebel. Why? Because they're seeking independence, they're seeking identity, they're seeking acceptance, they're seeking attention. I think it was a lady that spoke yesterday. She said, any attention is attention to the child, be it positive, be it negative. If mommy is not listening to me, if mommy is not responding to me when I'm being good, then let me be bad. I'll get her attention, I'll get his attention, I'll get daddy's attention. So what are the other causes of rebellion? Apart from the adolescent part, your parenting style as a parent. If you are the parent that is always shouting, always screaming, you're always hitting, you're just too harsh on that child, the child will rebel. When the child gets to that age, the child will rebel because, number one, you're teaching the child, you've laid down certain rules for this child without explaining to the child the reason behind those rules. So for parents who are harsh, for parents who are the Lord and Master, for parents who want to go and give instructions and not building a relationship with the children, the child will rebel. The child will rebel from those rules because you've not taken time to explain the reason for the rules, not taking time to let them to have the buy-in of the child when setting rules and regulations in the home. So that's another reason why teenagers rebel. Another reason is when parents are inconsistent with their discipline. So for example, I like when I start, I said it will start in subtle manner. Maybe the child will start coming home late, the child will be a bit disobedient. If you are not consistent with the laid down rules and consequences in the home, the child will continue acting in that manner and it will go to the extreme. Another reason is when parents are not there to listen to their children. I said teenage rebellion is a way of the child trying to seek attention from the parents. Is a way of the child trying to get the parents' attention. So if parents are not there to listen, to understand the feelings of these children, they end up rebelling to get your attention. That's one thing. Another thing you need to know. Then when parents are trying to force or project their own failed expectations on these children, they will definitely rebel against that. So for example, a child that all everything about the child is speaking art, speaking at the art, and you want the child to be a medical doctor, and the child knows within him, within her that, huh, I can't be a medical doctor. I'm not wired to be that. And you now want that child to be that. The child ends up rebelling. Child ends up rebelling against such.
I think we've lost Coach Ogunkomi. Let's hold on while she tries to log back in.
Hello, can you still hear me? Okay, I guess I'm back. Okay, great. So those are the reasons for. Okay, hi. Can you hear me? Okay. So those are the basic reasons for children, for teenagers rebelling. Number one, it has to do with the signs of the adolescent, due to the fact that they are transiting from childhood to adulthood, and because of this transition, the brain is developing. The prefrontal cortex, that's the logical reasoning part of the brain, is still developing. It's not fully formed. The child is doing more of emotional thinking. Okay, thank you very much. The child is doing more of emotional. It's more of his emotions. Once the child is what the child is feeling, that the child wants to exhibit. That's one reason for teenage rebellion. The child is seeking independence. The child is wanting to have his own identity, wants to form his own identity. The child is seeking acceptance. The child is seeking attention. The child is trying to form his own value system and all that. That is the first reason for teenage rebellion. That is the science behind teenage rebellion. Now, the other reasons has to do with your parenting style as a parent. If you're a parent that is always shouting, screaming, you are the authoritarian parent, you are the parent that is always harsh on the child. When the child gets to that age of adolescence, when the child feels he or she can talk back and all that, the child will definitely rebel. Another reason is when your discipline is not consistent, it causes or it aids rebellion. Then, when you do not listen to your children, you're not there for your children. Any attention they can get from you, be it negative, they will try to use rebellion to get that attention. So, what are the things we can do as parents? What are the things parents can do? I want you to know that when it comes to rebellion, when you have a child that's rebelling, this is not the time for you to now show that you are the lion of the tribe of Judah. This is not time to start trying to flex muscles. You want to show that yes, you are in control. For the child to rebel, it shows that you're not in control. Let me just tell you that. So what are you going to do? This is the time that you have to show support to the child. This is the time that you have to show love to the child. This is because the only way you can get into the heart of that child at this point in time is by you showing the child love. If you're going to use force to try to handle the rebellion, it's going to lead to extreme rebellion. So what do? You show your child love. This is the time you show you give your child that attention he or she needs. This is the time for you to actually get to the root cause of the rebellion. Why is my child being rebellious? Is it due to my parenting style? Is it due to the fact the child is trying to seek independence and I'm stifling the child with my own demands and with my own expectations? Even when parents' expectations are high, it leads to rebellion. I need you to know that. So you need to get to the root cause of the why is the child rebelling? You have to get to the root cause of the rebellion. That's the first step. Get to the root cause of the rebellion. This is not the time for you to start getting angry. This is the time that you need to build a relationship with your child. I remember when my second son became an adolescent, I had issues with him. And the issues I had were all the subtle disobedience, him wanting to resist control, and I got so worried because as a parenting coach, I was like, why is this child acting like this? I know I gave him the best upbringing, discipline, rules. I was there. I was a supportive parent, and that was one of the reasons that took me to go and learn more about adolescent psychology. I went to learn more about adolescent psychology. I went to learn what is really happening to the adolescent, because his older brother was not like that, and I realized that children are different, children are unique. The way the first child might react or respond to adolescents might not be the same way the second or the third child will react to adolescents. So it's very important that, this is the time you have to learn more about your child. This is the time you have to understand your child better. This is the time you have to, connect with him. What is that child interested in? And another reason children rebel is because you're not interested in their interest. The child wants to dance. The child wants to learn coding, but you want the child to do something else. That is another reason they rebel. So this is the time for you to get interested in your child. This is the time for you to build that connection with your child. So the first thing to do in handling rebellion, number one, is for you to identify the root cause. Number two is for you to understand the child, get to have a relationship with the child, get to interested in the child's interest. What is the child interested in? Be interested in that child's interest. This is the time you start. The child is assuming that he's no more a child. The teenager is assuming he's no longer a child. And because he's no longer a child, he wants you to respect him or her. So the way you were talking to him when he was a child would have to change. Your parenting style would have to change. You have to now start using more of supportive parenting style. No longer you shouting, yelling about child. Please, if you're on that table, this reminds me of a story I heard recently about a particular lady that said she slapped her 15-year-old son. And the way the boy looked at her as in, excuse me, mommy, where are you coming from? This is not the time to start being physical. This is the time you do more of talking, more of connecting. You have to learn to connect to the soul of that child. You have to learn to connect to the soul of that child. If you cannot connect to the heart of that child, it will be very difficult for you to handle rebellion. So first thing, identify the root cause. Second is getting to know the child, be interested in the child's interest. The third thing is for you to now set clear expectations. Maybe the expectations you've set before, the rules you've set before, maybe the child has actually outgrown them. This is the time you now set new expectations and rules with the child. You don't set rules and expectations for the child, but you set rules and expectations with the child. This is the time you sit with the child. You let the child understand that in this our house there are rules. There are going to be rules, there are going to be expectations, but we are going to work together to set and create these rules and expectations. And when you're setting these rules and expectations, of course, your child once in a while wants to test boundaries. And because your child is going to test boundaries, you also have to set consequences for him when he sets those boundaries. So let me give another example. So my youngest son, when he became the middle adolescent, he has friends, want to go out with them, wants to go visit, and we set the rules together. Your curfew is 6. The first day he came home at 6. Yeah, I was feeling excited. Yeah, my son, he listened to me. He came home at 6. The second time he came back after 6. I knew he was about to get to something. I knew he was about to start testing boundaries. And what did I do? We already have laid down rules. If you do not come back at 6, guess what will happen? You're not going to go out for the next outing, you know? And when the next outing came and was meant to go out, and I was like, hey, you forfeited the opportunity to go out due to the fact that you didn't come home at the right time the last time you went out. And because he understood he understood that he had actually heard, and he realized that I was not going to shift ground. He has to face the consequence of his action. The next time we went out, he came back on time. But guess what? We now had another agreement. We have to reset his curfew, because I realized that the 6 was not really was not working for both of us. So we both sat down together and we agreed at another time, which is now 6:30. So for parents, it's very important that you sit together with the child, you set rules, you set expectations with the child, and also set consequences for if the child is trying to push, or the child is trying to um, if the child is trying to push, or if the child is trying not to adhere to the rules that have been set. Then the next thing is that you now have to start allowing the child to make certain decisions in the home. You know, one of the reasons for a teenage rebellion is them seeking independence, them seeking control. So I speak with parents of adolescents that, see, your child is becoming older. There are certain rules, there are certain decisions he can start making by himself or by herself. However, decisions that are life threatening should still be made by you. So, this is the time you help them, allow them to start making decisions themselves, allow them to start taking decisions, allow them to start doing one or two things themselves without your input. For the fact that you've trained this child, for the fact that you've set the right rules, and you've trained this child right, you should be confident enough to allow him to make certain decisions. However, when he makes these decisions, and when he takes these decisions and its decision ends up in a mistake, or something like in a mistake, this is not the time for you to now start hounding the child. You see, but I told you so. Can't you see? Simple decisions you made, look at the outcome. No, 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 no. The child has made the decision, and it's even good for the child to make the mistake in the home. I tell parents, it's good for your children to make all the mistakes they can make while they're in the home. When they leave home and they go and make those decisions, it might be very dangerous and might be very counter active. So let them make the decision, all the mistakes they have to make in the home. Teach them, allow them to make decisions. When they make decisions, of course, they'll make some mistakes. Allow them to make these mistakes in the home. When they make these mistakes in the home, that is when you are there to correct them. That is when you are there to teach them all over. Maybe they didn't get the teaching the first time. This is the time for you to teach them again. Okay, you didn't get the teaching, so this is the teaching. I'm going to teach you all over, Allow them to make certain decisions in the home. And one of the decisions they can actually make, I tell parents of adolescents, see, start giving them things as little as pocket money. See how they manage money while they're still in your home. See how they manage their time while they're still in your home. Because the moment your child goes to university, the moment the child leaves home, is as good as the child has left home, And once the child is out there, you don't know what the child is going to do. But for parents that have trained their children in the home, you've allowed your children to make these mistakes in the home, you are confident that when the child goes out there, the child will do the right thing. So another way we can handle teenage rebellion is we help them to manage their emotions, teach them emotional intelligence, teach them feeling words. Let them know that if they don't, for the fact that someone has said something and you're disagreeing with what the person has said, you should not, this is not the time for you to now start shouting and getting angry. You have to teach them to manage their emotions. When you teach them to manage their emotions, it helps them to become better. Then another way you can handle teenage rebellion is by teaching them life skills. I've spoken about critical thinking, creative thinking, social skills. These are life skills that you have to teach them while they're in your home. So when they show any acts of rebellion, you know that okay, it's about time that I have to, maybe I didn't teach the child well or better. It's time for me to retrain and to reteach the child about this particular life skill. Then also teach them more about conversation. Let them know that they can come to you, they can come and talk with you about anything. If you have an open channel of communication in your home, your child will not have any reason to rebel. The child will know that I can come and talk to my mommy, I can come and talk to my daddy, I can explain to them the way I'm feeling, and we can talk it out. I was speaking with my son just got back from university, and I was speaking with him, and I asked him while I was preparing for this class, and I asked him, as in, but you didn't rebel while growing up. So what happened? And it was like, Mommy, I had nothing to rebel against because everything for every decision, for every rule, for everything we made in the house, I understood the reason behind those actions. You understand? So if you have an open channel of communication in the home, the child would always, the child will be able to come and talk to you. The child has no reason to rebel because the child knows that, Mommy, I can come and talk to you. I can come and daddy, I can come and talk to you. You know, when you set rules, when and rebellion really is about your child resisting authority, it's about your child resisting control. So if your child can come and talk with you, it's easy for the child has no reason to rebel. But if you are the parents that the child cannot come and talk to, or so for example, you ask your child to go and do something, and at that point in time, the child really does not want to do that thing, or the child is doing something, the child is reading or something like that. A parent that has an open channel of communication, the child can walk up to you and say, Mommy, Daddy, I heard what you said I should do. Please, can I do this in the next 5 minutes? Please, can I do this in the next 10 minutes? Do you know what that is teaching your child? That is teaching your child how to negotiate. You know, and that's part of the life skills that I said rebellion. If there's a positive side, there's a negative side to it. Negotiation skill comes out from that. You being able to teach your child how to come, if your child is going to object to any rule, your child should learn to come and talk to you about it. And for parents who do not have this open channel of communication, the child would rebel instead of the child coming to speak with you about it. Then finally, you have to teach your children independence even before they become adolescents. You know, independence, identity, acceptance, attention, creating their own values and their own value system. These are part of the things that happens during the adolescent years. So for parents, it's very important that you teach them how to become independent before they become adolescents. And if you remember when I started, I said independence comes with responsibility. Independence comes with responsibility. So I guess I would stop here. If you have any question, let me address the question. The questions. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hi, once again.
Okay, hello. Hi.
All right. So we're waiting for questions. And while we are waiting for questions, we would like to listen to amazing results that have been gotten from those that are in the inner circle. While I gather the questions, we want to see what we can learn from the inner circle and reasons why we need to join the inner circle for 2022.
Hi, my name is Adetutu Tolulope, and I'm a member of the TIP Inner Circle Parent, which I joined this year. and it's been a really amazing journey. It's been enlightening, it's been eye-opening, and for us in the parenting inner circle, we have really come to realize how much parenting it's about us. It's more about you, the parent, and less about your child. So when you're having issues with your child, don't focus on the child, focus on what you are doing wrongly, what you are handling the wrong way. That is something we have learned in the inner circle. And we have also learned that for our kids to be successful in this world and for them to face their world with courage and with boldness, there are skills we need to give to them. And these skills, we are also giving guides. We get guides in the inner circle to help us through our parenting journey. So it's really been an amazing journey. And you get to hear tips from other parents because we share our experiences. We seek advice from each other. So it's been really amazing in the inner circle. You have more to gain, and I guess you even have nothing to lose as a member of that inner circle. So it's been really amazing. I am grateful. I got to meet Coach Wendy. I got to hear about her, and it's been a blessing to me. It's been a blessing to my family. Thank you. Take care.
So, amazing testimonials from those that are in the inner circle. I would want you to make sure that you join the 2022 set. Now, let's see if we have questions for Coach Ogunkomi. We've learned so much from you, the cause of rebellion and how we can handle it. But now let's have the questions rolling in. The first question I can see says, what practical ways can you adopt to teach your children independence?
Okay, so thank you for that question. So independence, like I said, starts with you giving the child responsibilities. It starts with as early as the child learning how to tie his shoes, lace. Starts as early as the child learning how to pick up his clothes himself. It starts as early as the child doing things for himself without waiting for other people to do these things for him or her. That is the early and simplest way of teaching your child independence. Now, for adolescents, one of the things we did in my home when it came to teaching my children adolescents how to do it. So one of the things we did. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly.
So one of the things we did in our home to teach when they were preteens independence, we started allowing them to go buy things themselves within the estate. For the boys, when they would go for their football and basketball, we had to teach them navigational skills, how to move around within Abuja. Because wherever country they're going to go to, they're going to move around themselves. So we had to teach them that. We had to teach them financial independence. How can you make money? So they had to start learning how to make wealth. They went into business. My older son has his own business. He makes t-shirts and does printing. He does t-shirts. My younger son makes bracelets. My daughter, she does beads and she's learning how to bake and all that. So we had to teach them financial independence. And apart from that, we also have to teach them skills that will make them independent. So these are just a few practical ways you can teach your children.
Wow.
Well, it starts from when they are younger, then starting with doing things by themselves.
So we are not supposed to do everything for them.
No.
So that they can learn some independence. That would not
Yes.
be too loving. Okay, that's good. We have another question. What can I do in the case of a 12 years old who keeps doing things her own way? Tell her to do it this way. She won't argue with you, but ends up doing it her way almost all the time.
All the time. Okay, great. So, when I started, I said the first thing you have to do in handling rebellion is identifying the root cause. So you have to go back, ask her. You have to get to understand why she's doing these things, why she wants to do them the way she is doing them. Always ask questions. I tell parents, the act of questioning is a great tool in parenting. Your ability to ask questions. Ask the child why she is doing it that way. Let me give an example. My oldest son, he loves doing things. He loves the easiest way. Anything that makes life easy for him, that is the way he would want to do it. So because I know that about him, I know that's the way he does his things. And for some other people, it might be the fact that they're very meticulous. They want to do things in a particular way because they believe that doing that thing in that way would make that thing come out in a better, will give it a better result. So ask the child,
Maybe she's a
why
process
are
person.
you, hello?
I said maybe she's a process person. She
Yeah,
thinks
she
in
could be
form
a
of process.
process person. Yes. So ask her why she is doing it. You know, in the process of you asking her why, you end up, you get to know the reason, and the reason might even be beneficial to you, the mom. And like I said,
Because
if it's not life threatening, if that act is not life threatening, you could allow her. But if it's something that is life threatening, then you have to correct that.
my add that you also need to know how your children learn. Because if she's somebody that
Yes.
learns by process, it's better for her to go that route. All right. I have another interesting question here. The person says, what can I do about a teenager who can't express himself but is always angry?
Angry, yeah.
But he
So
can't express himself.
that is where emotional intelligence comes in. That is where you have to start teaching the child to start using feeling words. Then another thing, parents in the home, are you aggressive too? Because it's what the child is seeing, is the way the child reacts. If you that you are the parent, you're always aggressive, you're always shouting and hitting, the child too might end up responding and reacting in that way. But the basic thing is for you to teach the child about emotional intelligence. You have to be your child's emotion coach. Teach the child to express himself in a positive way. Teach the child to learn to regulate, self-regulate. Teach the child to be aware of himself or herself, so that the child would know the cues, those body cues that will tell the child that you're about to get into the top of anger, to the tip of anger. So you
Okay.
need to cool down. So you need to teach your child these emotional techniques, intelligence techniques.
Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Somebody says, please, is it actually negotiation if your teenager argues every time about set down rules and wants to do things at his own time and still argues about doing the consequences that comes with breaking the rules?
Okay. So for parents who are not consistent, that means you've trained your child to always argue with you. That's what I need you to know. There's nothing wrong in your child trying to negotiate. Negotiation skill is excellent. They have to learn to negotiate. But if it's becoming too often, then simply means that you've allowed the child, you're always giving in to the child. If you've laid down consequences, you have to learn to follow through as a parent. If you do not follow through, you are teaching the child to rebel.
Okay, so follow through as a parent. This parenting journey is very complex. All right. Somebody has another question. How do I handle a 14-year-old adolescent who is always feeling infatuated?
Is this a girl or a guy this time?
I do not know the answer to that question. The person didn't say, just said a 14-year-old adolescent who is always feeling
Okay.
infatuated.
So one thing you have to know is that, I said something about they are always seeking attention. They're always seeking acceptance. And for parents, it's important that you show your children love. When you show them love, when you give them this, when their love tank is full, they have no reason to always seek love or attention outside. So as the parent, you have to start teaching the child to love herself or himself. You have to boost the child's self-esteem by showing the child love. And you have to love the child in the way the child responds to love.
All right. So if we're going to take that question, if it was for a girl, will the answer be different from if it was a boy?
It's the same thing, basically. It's the same thing. It's you just
Okay.
showing the child. One thing about infatuation, it will come and it will go. But for children who have that self-esteem They know the difference between, oh, I like this guy because this guy has done something for me, or I like this girl because of certain characteristics on her body. It will come and it will go. But for children who don't have that self-esteem, who are not even aware of themselves, they are the ones that
Yeah,
keep falling
emotions, yeah.
into, yeah.
Maybe the
I
person
know
read
at
a
this
lot of
stage,
novels.
I know at this stage, their emotions are, they have a lot of
They
hormones
run
being
wild,
pumped
yeah.
into,
They
yeah, they have a lot of hormones being pumped into them during this adolescent stage. And that's why
yeah,
infiltration would come in. In
they
fact,
always come.
in fact, so many hormones are being pumped in, feel good hormones and all that. So for parents, it's very important that you have you have a sexual conversation with your children. You have to let them understand about hormones going well in them. All these things are things you need to speak with your children before they go out there.
And asking questions. Okay, so who is your best friend? Why is he your best friend? Those kind of questions can reveal many
I do
things.
that too. Oh yeah. So why do you like this person? You'll be shocked. The child might tell
Mhm.
you one silly thing. Maybe because the person will say, "Oh,
The
because
guy
he's
is tallest
tall,"
in school.
you
He
know.
has broad
So
shoulders.
and that's why I said open channel of conversation, open channel of communication is very important, where your child can come and speak with you about anything, about everything.
Everything. Very good. I have a question here that I'm very interested in. I think this
Okay.
person, she says, I think I have unknowingly created a problem for my son who does not think. He doesn't do anything until he's told to do so. So, what do I do? It feels as if he's using my brain. I'm a single mom.
Okay.
So,
So
she's a single mom.
for irrespective of your parental status, for your child, you have to teach your child critical thinking and creative thinking skills. And one of the ways I do this in my home is when my children come with a problem or with a challenge, I throw it back at them. I ask them, so what do you think? How do you think we should solve this problem? It gets them thinking. But if you are the parent that does everything for them, then you are then creating a problem for the child. You're not going to allow the child to start thinking by himself or herself. So always throw the question back to the child. Problem solve with the child. Tell the child to come up with options. Okay, come up with 5 options. If the child comes, and one thing about psychology is that the more options you have, the better results you will get. So
You get.
allow the child to come up with a lot of options. Then you now start narrowing down the options. Why do you think you should do it this way? Why do you
Weigh
think
the
you should do it that
consequences.
way? So look at the pros and the cons of each option the child comes up with.
It comes
At
up
the end
with.
of the day, the child himself will know the right decision to take at that point in
And he
time.
learns the skill. And he learns the skill from that.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
it's it's an amazing journey, the parenthood. It's actually an amazing journey.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
So we still have questions. How can I help my 11-year-old son who is slow and easily distracted?
Okay. So you teach the child a lot of mindful skills, the child to be in the present. One thing I tell parents, multitasking is a no-no. So you have to teach the child to
Okay.
do a task at a time. In the past,
Okay.
we were told that multitasking is a good
Is
skill.
his ultimate thing that is
Multitasking,
good.
nah, no, multitasking is
No.
distracting. But being in the present, being mindful of what you're doing per time is very important. So you teach your child to be in the present, teach your child to take one task at a time.
Okay. That's fine. We can still take some questions. How do I start the open communication with a child?
Okay. So open communication simply is you not being judgmental. Your child is telling you about something and you don't go, ah, really? You're already being judgmental. Open communication is the child being able to come and talk to you and you
And you
listen and you
listen.
go, oh, really? Tell me more about it. Wow. Oh, you ask open-ended questions. You allow the child to fill in the gap, not you being judgmental. The moment you're judgmental, the child won't come to you again. The child will say, I just told mommy something small. Look at how she reacted.
And
If I
then
tell
see
her the
our
big thing
reaction.
now, what we should do? She'll just fall like a on the floor. So you have to open-ended question. Very good tool. Open-ended question. Ask them, what do you think? Let them come and talk to you about it. Even you as a parent, when you get back from work, talk to them about your day. Tell them, oh, how did your day go? Oh, my day was, oh my goodness. No, tell them about your worries. Tell them about your achievements. Tell them, let them know more about you. But when you try to show your child that everything is perfect, everything is good, everything is rosy, that is when the child will feel that, I can't come and tell mommy this mistake I just made. Mommy is all too, mommy is too put together. Daddy is too put together. I can't come and, but when they know that you have your own flaws, they know, oh, mommy is not perfect. Daddy is not perfect. So I can come and talk to them about mistakes.
They have their own stress. They go through.
Yeah.
Good. Somebody's asking, how do you handle an almost teen who feels she's not beautiful? Her friends said so and seeks approval and needs to belong. How do you help such a child gain confidence?
Okay, so self-esteem, self-confidence, it all starts from the home. How do you speak with the child? What do you tell the child? How do you affirm the child? What words do you use on this child? Do you, the parents, say negative things about this child to the child? Do you, the parent, bring this child down? How do you, and it starts from the home. It's only you that can pump your child with self-esteem by you affirming the child, by you allowing the child to see his or her strength. What is she good at? What is he good at? How do you promote his strengths? How do you promote his potentials? These are ways you can help the child to build self-esteem.
Thank you so much, Coach Ogunkomi. There are so many more questions, but we've almost run out of time.
They should come and buy my book. They should come and buy my book. They should come and buy my book. I have all that about adolescence, teenage rebellion, everything in this book.
Okay. All right, that's very interesting. Thank you so much for giving us your time. What's the name of the book?
It's Help. Who is the stranger in the home?
Okay. Help. Who is the stranger in the home?
So it's a
Thank you so much.
guide.
So all the answers to your questions are there?
Oh yeah, it's a practical guide for parents on how to understand and connect with the adolescents.
All right. Thank you so much. We've gained so much from you. And like it has been since the beginning of the conference, we've been getting value, and value. Thank you so much. We hope that you would honor our invitation next time.
I hope so too. I will definitely be here again. Thank you so much for having me. So regards to Wendy too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was quite insightful. I saw that there were a barrage of questions coming from the question session. Thank you, Better Dad. Jube is a Better Dad. Is also a fatherhood coach who talks about fatherhood. Toyin Ogunkame is a parent coach, someone that I've also followed for a while, and you can follow her on her Instagram page. Please, your Instagram handle again.
Oluwatoyin Ogunkomi.
Okay. All right, awesome. Just Oluwatoyin Ogunkomi all together. You can also find her on Facebook, where she shares a lot about adolescents. That's one thing that I know that she does so well. How do you get the book? We're going to send details? Or do you want to drop your details here so that we can just put in the comment section?
Okay,
So that
okay, can be gotten on my website,
okay.
www.oluwatoyinogunkanmi.com.
Is it on Amazon?
It's on Amazon. It's on Amazon. Oh. It's on Amazon. It's on Okada Books. Can you imagine? I've forgotten to say that.
Okay,
it's on
great.
Amazon. It's on Okada Books.
Because we have a lot of people streaming from outside of Nigeria. So yes, it is on Amazon. It's on Okada Books. And if you're in Nigeria, just go to her website, www.oluwatoyinogunkanmi.com, to get the details of her book. I want to say thank you again, ma'am. It's been such a pleasure. By the way, I have a copy of Help, My Teenager. I have a copy of that book, awesome book. So I'm a gatherer of parenting books anyway. So hey, you should have you should have known that I do have copies. That copy was actually gifted to me by Coach Tony. Thank you so much, ma'am. I really do appreciate your time. We do not take it for granted. Thank you, Better Dad. It's been awesome with you today. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And if you have more questions, please, you can reach out to Coach Toyin. All right, she'll be willing to have you to answer all the questions. Please remember to follow all our facilitators, coaches. Remember that I said from the beginning that this conference is not free. Someone is paying a price for you to be here. So it's not free. Nothing really is free. It just means that somebody has paid a price so that you will be here accessing it for free. So please rave over Coach Toyin. Go on social media. Please share about the conference. Tell somebody to tell someone about this conference. And we're going to be back here at this conference again, and we're going to be back here with the next facilitator, who will be Fina Chichi. Fina Chichi will be speaking all the way from the United Kingdom, and she will be speaking at 6:30 p.m. All right, 6:30 p.m. we'll have Fina Chichi here, and she will be live. She will be live at 6:30 p.m. Please remember to keep a date. Fina Chichi is also going to be talking about within the area of teenagers. So if you have any question that wasn't answered, you can keep it, bring it for the next facilitator to put up on it. Remember that we are doing this. We are doing this for the sake of the next generation. What foundation are we laying for the next generation to be here? It is not about you. It is not about you, all right? It is about the foundation we're laying for the next generation. And I was saying something recently to a group of parents, the parents in the inner circle, by the way, and I said, it's okay for us, all of us, to just all run away and say, oh, we are in Nigeria. But you know the truth, Nigeria is not a place. Nigeria is you. Wherever it is that you find yourself, that is who you are. So I say this to you, whether you are from Cameroon, I know we have Cameroonian parents, I know we have Ghanaian parents, Kenya, UK, Australia, South Africa. And I want to say to you that it's not really about the place, it's about the world that we're living for our children. Do something, take action. Don't just listen to these things and just say, yay, deep, oh, wow, and all of that. Do something about this session. Do something about what you're hearing. Take action, all right? Thank you so much again. And remember that if you ever got value from this session, we want you to share it, and we want you to also rave over it. And remember to hit the like button as you're here, streaming on our YouTube channel. Invite another parent to be able to do this with you. Remember that what we are doing is that we're trying to create a system that helps our children to also become better people. Thank you again for joining us for TIP Annual Conference 2021. Thank you, Uncle Jube. Thank you so much for being here as always. Thank you. We'll see you, all right? Yeah, so see you at 6:30 when we convene again. Please remember to like this video. Remember to also share with your family and friends the value that you get here. Remember to join us at the inner circle. You know, parenting is about the process, it's not about the tips and hacks. This can only be a once in a while thing, but you need a process to actually help you through. And as we begin to close, we're going to play for you the testimonials of the parents in the inner circle. Maybe that would also still encourage you to join us in 2022 and work this process. Thank you again, and see you at 6:30.
Hello everyone, my name is Shera AJ, and I just want to share about my experience with the TIP Inner Circle. So when I heard about the Inner Circle, I wanted to join. I wanted to find out what it was about, but then I heard about the cost and I got discouraged. But I'm glad I asked, because I was told, oh, you can pay partly, there's a payment plan, and it helps you to pay in parts, which was great, and that's what I did. And I do not regret my decision. Just being around parents that share the same ideas with you about raising children, asking questions, rubbing mind, and realizing, oh, I'm not the only one going through this, and coming up with solutions that are long-lasting, that give results, has been amazing. I'm not talking about the master classes we have every month. I can't even not mention the books. I normally don't read books, but being in the inner circle has made me to start reading books and just discussing about books, learning things. You will be a student of your child when you enter the inner circle, because you realize that parenting is about you and understanding your child. Because at the end of the day, how can you raise a child you do not understand? You do not know their learning styles, you do not know their love language, you do not know their temperaments. That's one of the things that I've learned in the inner circle. What does it mean to discipline your child? What skills do you need to teach your child? How do you teach your child? Daily activities to do with your child. It's so many things. There are times I felt overwhelmed with the information, but then I realized that, oh, I'm learning this thing for the whole journey that I'm going to have with my daughter or my children. It's not just for today, not just for 1 week. And so it's worth the investment and is worth your time. So if you're considering it, if you're thinking about it, yes, go for it. And I'm sure you will not regret it. Thank you very much.
Hi, my name is Adetutu Tolulokwe, and I'm a member of the TIP Inner Circle Parent, which I joined this year, and it's been a really amazing journey. It's been enlightening, it's been eye-opening, and for us in the Parenting Inner Circle, we have really come to realize how much parenting it's about us. It's more about you, the parent, and less about your child. So when you're having issues with your child, don't focus on the child, focus on what you are doing wrongly, what you are handling the wrong way. That is something we have learned in the inner circle. And we have also learned that for our kids to be successful in this world and for them to face their world with courage and with boldness, there are skills we need to give to them. And these skills, we are also giving guides. We get guides in the inner circle to help us through our parenting journey. So it's really been an amazing journey. And you get to hear tips from other parents, because we share our experiences, we seek advice from each other. So it's been really amazing in the inner circle. You have more to gain, and I guess you even have nothing to lose as a member of that inner circle. So it's been really amazing. I am grateful. I got to meet Coach Wendy. I got to hear about her, and it's been a blessing to me. It's been a blessing to my family. Thank you. Take care.